Welcome, Deviant Drivers, to another episode of A Drink with the Driver.
It says cool dad. I didn't realize I had that one. My bad. The Pepsi, the brand of Starry drinks everywhere.
Oh, God, knock off Sprite.
Mm-hmm.
So
Funny thing is, no one knows what we're talking about because they don't know who our guest is today. Not yet.
Yeah, but I am joined as usual with Junkai. But
Hello.
we also have a new guest joining us, which he's not new to Deviant at all. He's been around for a while. His current roles are too long to list, so I'm just going to list some of them.
Lazy ass.
The show prep department doesn't have a whole lot of time. Deviant OG. He has boosted the server, which we're most appreciative of.
Thank you.
He is in every single league and has been since day one of joining.
Mm-hmm.
He is a Sunday Cup champion, and he is a GT3 World runner-up. And so he has helped extensively with a lot of things, namely back in the days when, before GT7 was perfect after all of its updates. We spent a lot of time. We tried to develop and get 24-hour races down, and so he helped me extensively, and we'll talk about that. And I know he's going to know what I'm talking about. But please, everybody, welcome our first interviewee. I think it is interviewee. Yes, we're the interviewers, so he's the interviewee. And please, everybody, welcome Zen 3000, or just Zen as we all know him.
Hello.
Welcome.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
Cheers, sir. Cheers.
Cheers indeed. My drink of choice is a cherry Pepsi. It is.
Oh, it's cherry Pepsi. Nice
the
little
vintage.
Nice.
Jazzing it up a little bit.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
What's up, Zen?
Not much. Been practicing my GTR a little bit today, running all the tracks, trying to make sure everything is good. And as I was saying on the Discord, was it Yamagiwa or whatever? I think that's correct. Yamagiwa is going to be brutal. It's going to be a rough track. It's going to be chaos. Everybody.
Yeah, I'm still hitching my money on Tokyo, but we shall see.
Tokyo will probably be messy too, but I think it's an easy pick.
So
yeah, it's gonna be.
What I alluded to in the introduction was Daytona testing, and to give a little backstory on this, like I say, back before they made GT7 perfect after all the updates, without any kind of flaws whatsoever, we were trying to figure out how to squeeze 24-hour races into a 50-minute period, and to do that, it took a lot of testing. So much testing that Zen, you and I spent quite a bit of time on Daytona backstretch watching stars, literally.
Yeah, watching the sunset and rise again, trying to get the time acceleration down right. And then I came up with math, and I'm like, I think it was 26 if I recall, setting it to 26x. I'm like, I think if we do 26, it'll be right. And we tried it; it was right. So yeah, very elegant evenings, I guess.
Yeah. It took quite a while. And it took a lot of trial and error, and literally just sitting in the cockpit on the backstretch. We were tired of racing. We were worn out from driving around Daytona.
Just watching,
just parking there and then watching the moon, because at the speed it was like you could see it move.
Like ticks through
it's hilarious. Just getting drunk on the backstretch.
Yeah. So when you go to edit this, please have little hearts flying around and champagne bottles and stuff like that, would you please?
We had a picnic on the field of Daytona. It was great.
It sounds romantic as hell. It really does.
It was. Yeah.
It was fun. So in some of the earlier episodes, we both talked about where our name originated from. Zen, tell us a little bit about where the name Zen comes from.
Wow, it's a long story. So uh, back in the day, I was very young. I was playing a game called Dragon Warrior for the NES with my uncle. He introduced me to role playing games like that, and we needed to name our character. So they only gave you four letters. So we just actually only used three letters at the time, which is ZEN. We just went with Zen. We thought it sounded medieval, kind of, and maybe fantasy esque, and I don't know, just fit. So that's what we used. And over once the internet became a thing a couple years later in like 97, when everybody had AOL, um, my first AOL name was Zen 3002 because I had to put numbers because somebody already had Zen, of course, right? So over time that I added an N to the Zen to try to differentiate. I dropped the 2 to just make it 3000. And sometimes I represent it with 3K instead of 3000, but sometimes people pronounce that as Zenic, like they read the 3 as an E for some reason. So why I generally will use 3000 if I can. So that's the quick version of the history of my name.
Understood. That's good. That's good.
Okay.
It's crazy. We think we come up with these unique names like Junkai. Yeah, people have that. Right? It's nuts. It infuriates me.
Zen is apparently really common.
How does anybody have Mercury? I don't understand that. That's a creative.
Well, you also added like 6 digits to the end of yours.
That's because everybody had Mercury.
Everyone has Mercury. Absolutely.
Everybody wants to be like Mike, I guess.
Impossible.
Yeah, those. Yeah, we're just gonna move on from that.
Too many people.
Producer in my ear. What was that? Move on. Okay, move on, please. Continue.
As I mentioned, he is participating in all the leagues right now. All the sub leagues that we have: Sunday Cup, GT3 Sport, GT3 World, and the Endurance League. And you've been with Deviant Zen how long exactly? Is it
over a year?
Over a year.
He hit his anniversary. I have it right. June 28th last year.
That was the first race of Goodwood?
No, that was the first time you got onto Discord with us.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Yep. You, Chaotica, and Glovis all came in the same time, and then you gagged Floody, tied him up, and drug him in.
He goes up every once in a while, so
it's never been the same since.
Right? No, not at all.
Once you go Floody, you don't go back.
Yeah, no. I'm sure there's more stories to that than we understand at this point. So
awesome. Well, again, welcome. And we're just going to cut right into it. So let's talk about the leaderboards. So GT3 World right now is pretty close in the top 3. I've got Junkai setting at 91 points total. Besso nipping at your heels with 87. He's right there.
It's back and forth. I mean, he was first last week. I'm first this week. 2 races left.
He's got more faster laps than you do this season. He's got 2 to your 1.
Yeah, I didn't want to push it on this last track, especially with it got dark quite early. So it wasn't worth screwing up to try to get a fastest lap.
Got all the bets after about 20 or 30 minutes.
Yeah. Plus, I never got on soft tires where they did.
Yeah.
He did, and so did Cowhow.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's surprising that worked out.
And Zen is still holding strong at 3rd with 70 by a significant.
Mr. Consistent.
Yeah. Ford has consistently been right there in the top 3.
Mm-hmm.
There still is manufacturers are still holding 3rd. Porsche, of course, is leading. And Nissan, of course, in 2nd, which stands to reason based upon the order of the drivers. But it's close.
What was that?
And you're worth enough points for 2 people.
Oh, it does help to finish up there. That's for sure. We can talk about it now, but I was so pissed for Floody at Sardinia because he practiced so much, but it's all good.
Yeah, so GT3 competition is close, and GT3 Sport is no different. GT3 Sport, Soler is leading from his win at Monza,
Yeah,
and
that changed as well because he just moved up there, I believe.
Solaris.
Yeah, he is. I'm concerned about racing him. I hope he is extremely tired
One of
because
the
he's
few
on the
people
West
that I think
Coast.
can actually run down. I think it's
Yeah, yeah, I agree.
yeah, yeah.
He's clean.
The top three have switched places quite a bit over their seasons between Soler, Folgore, and Zanchin have just kind of teeter-tottered back and forth between the top three. And right now, Folgore sets at second with 51. He's only 4 points behind, again, not very far behind. And Zanchin at 48, still, again, within striking distance. So, I mean, any one of these, and they got 2 races left too. And the next one they're going to is Nürburgring GP circuit. So, any one of them have an opportunity to win and switch the whole leaderboard up again.
Yeah. The cool thing, we also have new drivers that'll be in this next race as well, and we don't know their capabilities. So they could end up stealing some points. We don't know.
That's true. That is true. That is true. Well, look, we were talking earlier about GT3 and the challenge and World Challenge. So I guess we'll just start with Junkai. What was your thoughts on the race in general? How did you feel about it? What did you think?
My race at GT3 World, going into it, I was leery on whether a 3-stop race was going to work. So I only had 3 scenarios that called for a 3-stop race. And when it hit 14, I was like, son of a bitch. And Zen audibly explained that over voice chat. But when it came up 14, I was like, I mean, I worked it out in my head ahead of time. And what I have to do to myself is I have to fight myself from arguing with myself to change my mind. Like, I thought about it before the race. I worked everything out. And then when it hit 14, I'm like, all right, is this going to work? I start questioning. And I'm like, no, just stick to it. Shut yourself up. Just stick to it, Pitting at lap 20, I think it was either 20 or 21. It's just so close to the end. It's like you don't have time to run anybody down, and you're banking on everyone else hopefully pitting or going slow enough. And so obviously it worked out, but that car was built for that track. High speed turns. I had 3 very clean outside passes going through the turns. That car was a beast there, and it was easy to get around people on the outside on those high speed turns. So it was enjoyable. It was fun. I loved every second of it. It was good. It was fun.
Jen, what'd you think?
I had a rough race. I did a 3-stopper because of the way my tires were wearing. I just used hard tires the entire race, which definitely wasn't very beneficial to having a good finish. I thought I was going to definitely probably do pretty poor, like 5, 6, 7 kind of position. I'm actually pleased to get 5th considering where I was before the safety car, because I got taken out by Thrasher and then subsequently got bumped again and lost like 3 or 4 positions in basically 1 corner. So that was just before the safety car. So I'm at second to last to start the safety car back up, I believe, somewhere like that, at least before we pit. And yeah, I just tried to run hard tires basically from the restart to the end of the race, running in 9 laps as opposed to the standard kind of 8 I think everybody was getting, and just to try to extend it a little bit and just try to, and hopefully the other people needing to pit will slow them down, but apparently it doesn't slow you down very much. So when you don't need gas, so it's I'm going to adjust my strategy in the future to maybe run 2 sets of mediums instead of 1 set of hard tires in those kind of situations, because it seems like it's the way to go.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
and we developed our strategy, and I deviated from it towards on the second or the last, I guess, third or whatever, because I ended up running all hards the whole race, and I did it on a 2-stop. my initial strategy as written that we developed was for a 3-stop, and it was going to be for to end on softs on a sprint. And it was not until I got into the nighttime where I realized the tires weren't wearing and I had a bit more fuel than I expected. And I was like, I
The
mean,
track temperature is a big thing.
yeah, I was like, I can make this to the end and on a 2-stopper. And, you know, it didn't, I mean, it didn't work out bad. It just, it was those last several laps I got flashbacks of Junkai at Catalunya because I was like 3 to go, 2 or 3 to go, and I was looking at the time and I was looking at the fuel, and I was like, "Whew, it's gonna be close." And I was calculating it in my head, and I said, "I'm not gonna make it. I've got to do something." And so I started fuel saving, big time. And that was, I just started slowing down and short shifting, and then I changed my fuel. I was watching the number of laps I had to. I was like, "This is gonna be real close." It did come down pretty close. I think I was only like 1 or 2 or maybe 3% left in the tank, and when I crossed the line, definitely not enough to go another lap. So
I had enough for 26. I'm not doing that again.
I think I finished with like 0.4 left to go. I pretty much calculated it had dead on. I mean, it was pretty simple for me. It was full tank and then just short shift for like half of the laps, and that was.
You did pit on the safety lap, right? Yeah. So let me ask you this. I know when we first started talking about the safety cars, the three of us specifically had a big conversation about the effectiveness, everything like that. And again, I want you to answer honestly. How do you feel about safety cars nowadays, especially with you being in GT3 Sport and World, the difference between the two?
I would, I have a love-hate relationship with the safety car. Like part of me really likes it. I like how it adds spontaneity to the strategy. And things of that nature. The part of it I don't like is how it basically starts the race whenever the safety car resumes. Like that's when the race actually begins. Everything that happens before that is mostly irrelevant. There's been multiple situations where somebody's been at the back of the pack at the safety car and ended up in first, second, or third place.
Yeah.
If you're faster, you're faster. As long as you got enough laps to get there. The tricky one is where the safety car is really late, and you have to basically run from the safety car to the end of the race. That's probably the hardest ones. Anytime there's a pit in between, there's a lot of flexibility. I was actually looking for a 20 safety car for this.
I was too.
For that last three.
Yep. Yeah. That was the only setup I had with a soft stint because I knew everybody else would do softs, and I didn't even think about the nighttime racing, allowing it to last a little bit longer. But yeah, no, that if it landed 20, my last stint was going to be softs, undoubtedly.
Yeah.
It's up for 18 and 19 too, but 14. 14.
Yeah, 14 was 14. It seems like the last few have been like smack dab in the middle somewhere. So, well, again, I mean,
I got some new strategies for the future as we move forward with the safety car. If we continue to move forward with the safety car, so I've learned things from every race, and I feel like my strategies are improving.
Yeah. The only variance that we really have beyond that is picking up what GT3 Sport is, which is just a free-for-all run until you're done. I don't particularly care for that because like Soler won by 20 seconds, 30 seconds his last race.
A minute and 20 or something ahead of me.
Yeah, I mean it's
unsurmountable.
Oh, right, and to all his credit, I mean that's a huge win. But it's also deflating and to everybody else. And I think you made a comment. I was just driving us by myself again for an hour. Yeah. Like, and we don't, that's kind of where the safety car comes in for us is we get accidents are going to happen. We saw multiple different accidents over both races, but if you can recover somewhat, none of us are perfect. And hopefully someone from the back does get to the front or, that's the hope out of it. But the only other variant, and we might be able to pull it off, but I don't know, is active live safety cars. That's where you have an actual steward who's watching the race and then calls safety car out of nowhere, and nobody knows it's happening, and it's based on an incident.
I don't know if
Because
we have enough incidents for something like that to occur. We didn't.
Right, and we may have to change what a incident is. Maybe it's an incident where another driver gets pushed off the track at the fault of another driver. I don't know, but that would definitely change the whole dynamic. But in our last league that we were in ages ago now, I mean, there were some races you'd end up with 2 or 3 safety cars, and it got a little aggravating after a while, So I don't know if we're in the right place.
Right?
Huh?
I said that's kind of how it is in real life too. Just constant.
It is.
Safety car, and nobody ever gets to go.
Yeah. There was an F1 race recently. There was no safety car. I don't remember what it was. I'm sure Chaotica will.
Yeah, I go on that.
Yeah, he'll correct all of us.
Car, we released in the last video, we revealed rather that there's going to be 2 leagues, GT3 and GT4. And so I think it's appropriate in this video we release what safety car, since that's what we're talking about, is going to look like for both those leagues. So the GT3 car and the GT4 car, they'll be separate cars, but they look identical as much as 2 cars that aren't the same car can look. And they'll be present provided once we finalize who is going to drive them. And we're still working through that, so not to disclose.
Who picked the color?
It's safety orange.
Good color.
Oh, really?
Yes, it's a high visibility color. What color do construction work? What color is a road cone?
Just making sure that you're in it for the league. That's all I'm making sure of.
I'm in it for safety. So you can't miss this damn thing when it's in front of you, because it's bright orange, and it's right there. So
to move to real cars, it would be nice to have good restarts for a change. Restarts
will be, because what you'll have is you'll have somebody that can focus only on driving the course at that speed, not worrying about their strategy, not trying to figure out when they're getting into pits. It's very difficult to do all these things, and there's no cruise control, as we know. It'd be nice if we did, but that's obviously they're not going to put it on there. But that driver is controlling the race until they pull off, and then we go for the restart when you hit the line. So it's going to be very nice. You'll know where to pick the car up. You'll know who's in control of the race. And our idea, if we've got to get the volunteers, and we're ironing that out. And once we get everything figured out, when we get down to that point, we may ask for a few volunteers to be a driver for a safety car in those other leagues. But anyway, you now know what the safety car for both years, or both leagues next year, are going to look like. And what do you guys think?
I like them. I think it's a good color.
I think it's a horrible color.
I think it achieves the task of standing out. Like it seemed pretty obvious to me.
That's its only role, is to stand out, not get hit.
Yeah, I'm sure that's it. Yellow would have been fine too,
Yellow would have worked. I didn't think about highlighter yellow. I didn't see that in the options of the colors.
Hold on. We're deviating because we're deviants. So okay. I'm bringing this up because Zen brings it up every race. Zen,
what's
pop
up?
Quiz.
Oh shit.
What are the mile per hours for a safety car? What's the minimum?
You tell me, man. It changes every race.
What's the maximum?
It was 70 at Le Mans, and then it was 60, and then it was 65, and then the last race it was somewhere between 62 and 68.
Okay, so in everything you just said, guess what, sir?
What's that?
You are right. You are correct. The rules state the driver setting the pace must slow to a speed of 60 to 70 miles per hour, or for our across the pond folk 96 to 112 kilometers per hour. We actually made the adjustment there. So we've been within range the whole time. I just love how vocal you've been about it.
Sorry to interject, but the one thing that you just made me think of with the conversions, when you guys write up the sheets for the races, when you do the weights, you need to put the kilogram weights in there as well, because
I'm pointing on my screen to who develops these races.
Because the without that proper calibration, they could be a couple pounds off either way and not know it.
No, that's true. That is true.
Either way,
Mercury, get your shit together. Get the.
Oh, and this next race, the GTRs, the weight limit can't actually be set on the settings. The what is it, 2350 or something? Is that what the weight is? It can
Are
only
we talking about the Skyline GTR Cup?
Yeah, it can only be. It can't be 2350. That's not a selectable number. It has to be 2299 or 23051 or whatever, or 49 and 51. So just FYI.
Go with the lower number.
You're fired. Damn, these rule sheets get you every time. Hey, look, I'm a cool dad.
So there was a couple other instances at Kyoto over the weekend that we'll talk about, and one being is Toyota and Mercedes battle at Kyoto. They were 6 through 10 in a line at one point, which is pretty cool.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was interchange. It was like Mercedes, 2 Toyotas, a Mercedes, a Toyota. They were all right there together, and they were within fighting position of positions.
Where was Porsche?
Way up front.
Okay, I was just curious. I couldn't remember.
Yeah. So I thought that was pretty cool. I found that video interesting that the whole 2 teams were right together.
No, that is cool. I didn't even pick up on that.
Cool clip, yeah.
Yeah. So GT3 Sport, Junkai, you bailed, so you weren't there. So I guess, what did you think about from what you saw of it? What did you think?
Well, Soler dominated the whole entire race. They had a clean start from what it appeared.
As clean as one can be at Monza.
Yeah.
I think I don't remember who took the brunt of it. It might have been Dirksy.
Yeah, someone got bumped around a little bit, but I mean, someone's got to get off the page a little bit. But for the most part, it looked fairly clean. It looked like, what's the guy driving the Lambo? He struggled for a little bit. The Lambo's hard to drive anyway. Duplo,
yeah.
Duplo. Correct us, however you spell that. We need phonetics. Anatole, we need phonetics on that. But no, there was some tight racing there. He and the new guy, Race Ready, I think, is that his name? Race Ready, and
with the Ferrari.
Race Ready and Dirksy went at it for quite a while, so that was cool. But no, I mean, it was enjoyable to watch. I like Monza. I know you two hate Monza, or I know Zen doesn't care for Monza. He still did well in the BRZ, though, even though it lacks in top speed.
I didn't feel like it did very well.
Yeah.
You did well. You did well on that course, considering, number one, you don't like the course, and number two, the Subaru BRZ is a terrible car at Monza.
My strategy also wasn't particularly good, apparently, because I extended the hards like extra long with fuel to try to get 2 fast soft tire laps after that, and apparently that wastes a lot more time than just stopping for another pit stop. So
where'd you end up finishing? I don't remember. Yeah. What was what tires did you run?
I ran hard for the first stint, and then soft again.
Gotcha.
But
I think Soler ran hard, soft, or something like that.
Ran soft, and then hard for like 2 laps.
Gotcha. Damn.
on a positive note, that Subaru is going to be strong at both Nürburgring GP, still strong, but it's Suzuka.
Yeah.
That's going to be a big force for it.
We'll see.
Mhm. You'll be fine.
I don't think I'll be able to keep
You'll
up
be
with
fine.
Soler anyway. It's or probably even Fulgor.
Yeah, but they haven't won every race. Fulgor's messed up. Fulgore, but I felt bad for Fulgor. I mean, he comes in a GT3 world, and love you, Fulgor. Mwah. Huge pile up on the restart.
I somehow made it
felt
through the
bad
middle of
for
that
him.
without hitting anybody, and everybody was just kind of off to the sides, and that was my fate giving me another chance after getting knocked out by Thrasher earlier in the race, giving me my positions back. Without that happening, I probably would have finished like 8th or 9th.
Yeah. I mean, it looked like a literal car accident you would see just watching NASCAR, just cars scattered everywhere. And I mean, it's frustrating, I get, but at the same time, it's unfortunately a part of racing. Like, it happens in practically every race. And as we've all seen, as long as we've been driving together, we continue to get closer and closer and closer with how comfortable we are. I remember back in the day, it was like 2 car lengths, 3 car lengths. Otherwise, you were getting punted. But I think we've all done well, and things are going to happen. It sucks. So that would have warranted a live safety car, though. I will say that.
Which one?
Yeah, but no, that was
It was multiple.
Yeah, no, for sure. That's for sure. And then Thrasher ran out of gas. I was watching it live.
You
We were
forgot
waiting
to
to
fill
go to
up.
a birthday. Yeah, we were waiting to go to a birthday party, and I had it on. My wife's like, "Why are you watching that?" And I'm like, "For likes and views." And I saw Thrasher just kind of limping along, and I thought maybe he got into an accident and was kind of waiting to come back on the track. And then it was just like slowly just meh, 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 meh. And then I realized, poor guy, he's out of fuel. I don't think it's as bad.
Yeah, he audibly said he went into pits and then he just clicked that button wrong about, he selected his tires or whatever, and then just clicked that button and it was like no fuel, and it shot him out. And he didn't get 30 feet outside the pit and it died. I mean,
he pulled a Besso. Besso did that with tires.
He pulled a Besso, calculating it down to literally 0 because he couldn't even get out of the pit lane before he ran out and cruised around the track the whole way and then parked it in the pits.
They really need a back button on that menu for sure. It's ridiculous that you can just click through and just totally screw yourself over.
I know, like, you should be able to back out, or just like even before your car gets there. If you like, you know what, I don't want to be on medium tires. Let me go to hard tires. Like, that's just asinine that you can't change that. I remember Anatole at Le Mans, where he ran out of fuel. That's a long race with no fuel. That's a long lap. God. Yeah, that was good. So poor Thrasher. Thrasher, we love you. He's the oldest non-friend deviant that we have. And he's a friend now, but you know what I'm saying. Like, I've known Mercury too freaking long.
Yes, I texted him on my phone when we were picking the F1 teams.
Yeah, exactly. We don't have anyone else's number.
I know. Yeah, I texted him. I said, "Hey, Thrash, it's your pick."
I about called you at work to say it was your pick. I was going to do it too.
I know. So, so at Kyoto, I tell you, we saw, and I'm gonna show a picture here below. Zen, I think you have the coolest car for sure at night,
dude, without a doubt.
Yeah, the lights on the GT, yeah, they're pretty cool. I wish you could change the color. I thought you could maybe change the color.
At least you get a color. Like, mine's bland as shit. That is badass. Like, it looks freaking amazing. Like, I don't want to be behind anybody. I'm fine being behind that car for a little bit. For a little bit.
Up until the last lap, at least.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, after that, screw that. Screw your light show and whatever else. But yeah, that's sexy as hell.
Yeah, yeah, it is. It is super cool. I mean, it's seeing it is like, I mean, it's like, wow, it almost looks like, I don't know, Starship Enterprise or something, like moving around the track, you know.
That's fitting given the livery I gave the Mini.
Mm-hmm. A little bit, and your Discord right now says you're playing Star Trek, so
Yeah, I have it running.
everything connects.
Speaking of the Mini, speaking of the Mini, we talked about it last week because that Mini was absolutely just dominant in the Clubman Cup. How many of those things do you have exactly?
I just have 4.
Just 4.
Really, yeah, and really only 3 of them are tuned at all. One was just an extra purchase, just in case I needed to start over for some reason.
You, my friend, know what you're doing when it comes to tuning races. I will say that, because that little car, I watched that. Like I told you, I watched that first lap. I was like,
Yeah,
I know
that was a
Zen
fun lap.
bounced. Yeah, I was like, I know Zen bounced off somebody, but no, it was just like shoom, 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 shoom. Like that's.
I remember last week you said the seas parted, and that's how I felt at the time. Like,
Right.
2 cars in front of me, and they just opened a gap.
And it was like at one, I don't remember who it was, but at one point there was some bumping ahead of you, and then as you got to them, they just went shunk,
Yep,
and you just shunk right through the middle. Yeah, that was a baller first lap. That was a baller race. What am I talking about? You lapped Mercury. I mean, he's slow anyway, but you did lap him.
Lapped everybody but 5 or 6 cars.
Yeah, that was.
Virtually
And you started in last. Like
he started in last. And yeah, I mean, it was like, I mean, it was almost like that little thing was like a 500 running in a 400 race.
It was tuned well. I have some tricks up my sleeve to get results, and it works out pretty well. You're going to be hard pressed to pull them out of me unless I let it slip. I have a tendency to just divulge too much information sometimes.
You do a little bit, just a touch, but
I'm trying to keep it close to the chest.
let me ask you this.
I can tell you that your recommendation of what you would have done to your car last week, Jinkai, was a mistake. That's as much.
Really?
I'm not even going to tell you what it was. You'll have to rewatch the video.
Okay. Well, I was more referencing. I don't want to give anything away, but I was referencing your transmission.
But yeah, transmission is important. I'll say that.
But I would have tuned my tranny the same way you turned yours.
Okay, for that one, for the last race.
Yes.
So actually, it was kind of tuned for all races. Really, just the first race and the last race.
Yeah.
I had it tuned on the first race to basically be peaked out at 3rd gear most of the way through the S's, so I could hold as much speed as possible.
Well, and that's why, a lot of people. I don't want to give your secrets away. You want me to give your secrets away?
That's just transmission tuning. That's not a big deal. That's
a little bit, but okay. All right. So if we want to go there.
The setup secrets, the real setup secrets.
No. Yeah, no. I was just mainly talking about the tranny where it allowed you to be in your power band longer, because when you took off from that race in the back, the whole pack left you.
Right.
Because you had to get up to speed. But once you
got
got up to
stock engine, man, there's no low end torque or horsepower.
Right. But once you got up to speed, you're maintaining it, and that's where you live. Did you engine swap that for that first one?
No, the engine was not swapped for the 400.
Damn it! So it's only going to get worse.
That was a fully beefed out stock engine, which I think tops out at something like 130 horses or something.
Well,
and it was down tuned a little bit.
Kudos to you, my friend. That was a hell of a showing.
It was fun. I enjoyed
Well
it. I'm
done.
looking forward. I'm pretty much set for the 500 already, so I'm looking forward to that. I have 2 setups, one similar to how I did it before, one for handling and one for more speed. I think everybody kind of does that. So I'm kind of doing the same thing. And I know my times are already faster than what I saw Besso run, so we'll see what happens.
There you go. I love friendly competitions. So I had made a comment on Discord that I popped in someone's lobby and saw 146.9 at Monza, and someone was like, "I knew it." Yeah, I never saw that. I was just playing mind games with a lobby I'm not even in. I think Solaire commented, or one of those guys over there. But yeah, I never saw 146.9. That'd be ludicrous.
Yeah, 146. I can't imagine anybody running that anymore.
Yeah,
Maybe
yeah.
before, but not anymore. Solaire's 149 was impressive. I could not hit 149 to save my life. Like
Hey,
one,
there were a couple 148s in there, I believe.
was there?
Yeah.
Well,
Mhm.
during what during the actual race or during the qualifying?
Race.
Really?
Yeah, Zanshin had fastest lap,
Okay.
and I
Mhm.
think his was a 48. I think I'd have to go back and watch.
I couldn't beat 150.3 that I set in practice once. I never beat that. So I was out of it before it even began.
Yeah, I did just for shits and giggles, I did a 148.3 in the GTR in 3 laps. So I'm sure I could get down a little bit more, but I mean, just like anything, it depends on the car.
The car is a big part of
Yeah.
it. It's not
Mhm.
that at all.
Absolutely. So, all right, Zen, you ready for your questions?
Oh shit.
The interview. All right, we're gonna keep this simple though. So, I have some questions for you. I have highlighted them, and I clearly highlighted the wrong ones because I don't like the first question. So I'm going to skip it
Alright.
altogether and move to another one, which is, and I know the answer to this, but we're going to share it with everybody, is what camera angle do you drive in and why?
Yeah. I drive in the bumper view, and I drive that for the rearview mirror. I It's important to know where the car behind you is, and that's what I use to keep an eye on them. I find I can't really pay attention to the radar and the road at the same time, so rearview mirror helps out and to kind of be the radar instead. I just have to pay attention to where people are kind of in my space. Sometimes
Yeah.
it works out, and sometimes it doesn't.
No, 100%. I drive the same. Mercury's on the hood. If the rear view was on the hood view,
But I drive the hood. Yeah,
yeah, I agree. 100%. That rear view is crucial.
it is.
It really is. All right. Next question.
Next
Who do
time
you
somebody
usually
dives
find
you
your
on the inside,
Huh?
you'll know that they're there.
Right? Well, and yeah.
That's what the radar's for.
The other good thing is you get those little warnings on the sides too sometimes.
And the screen kind of darkens on the side a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. Does that happen on hood view?
I don't know.
No,
Mark?
no, it doesn't. But even when I've tried it on, on the bumper cam, I just don't notice the dark edges. I mean, it's like
Yeah,
a 65-inch TV. I just don't even see it.
it closes in on you a little bit.
There's
Oh,
a
So you gotta,
it moves
yeah.
all your instrumentation to the middle as well, which I'm sure you know. But there's little indicators on that, little red indicators on each side that kind of will let you know. Like there's like arrows that'll tell you if you're closer or farther away to the car.
Yeah,
Yeah, you get like 3 little bars.
yeah, I think you do get that even with the roof cam. I think it lights up. I don't know. Honestly, I have that cell phone with the telemetry screen blocking out the.
You have
whole-
you have your iPad here.
I do.
Then you have your cell phone that shows telemetry.
Yeah.
And then you have something else probably that shows you your YouTube likes and questions.
The
And
movie
then you probably have active live stream over here. And then
Yeah,
I'm
what's
sure
going
you're
on, man?
watching. And then you have a smaller TV over here watching Top Gun.
That's right. That's right. You gotta have that playing all the time.
All right. So next question. But Zen, how do you prepare for a race? And I know that's a very vague question, but like I know Sunday Cup is a little different than Group 3, but ultimately, how do you attack your next race?
Generally, I just run laps, I guess. If it's a racing like a Sunday Cup race where I have to build a car, I spend some time creating a setup that I think will be okay, and then I run some laps and I see how the car performs. And if it's really understeery or really oversteery or doesn't seem to be braking well or does any number of things, then I tweak from there and I just kind of go from there. So it's all, I mean, nothing beats running laps. Running laps tells you how the car will respond. It keys you in on when your braking points need to be so you can learn those for the car and the track combination. It's nothing beats just practicing and running laps. So that's the long and short of it.
Yeah.
When it comes to the GT World Series, I'll see how long the tires will each last. I try to test now, at least in this last year, I tried to test, or this current year, I tried to test for sun up and sun down, like, because I know there's a difference. I've known that since for a couple races now, that you get more laps out of tires at night. So when the sun sets, you typically get another lap out of almost every tire. So you can use that to kind of plan your strategy as well. So that's kind of the long and short of it, I guess.
Yeah, no, that's well applied. And again, the fact that you can feel out your understeer, oversteer, correct it, brakes, it clearly gives you an advantage in all of that. When it comes to your team strategy, and you don't have to divulge anything you don't want to, do you create a separate one for each driver, or do you have one full set? I heard you calling out like some Peyton Manning shit like a couple races ago, like, hey, blue, 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 or Utah, like something like that. I don't know
I believe it was just blue. I believe it was just blue.
Yeah, I think it was blue, but
we have code words for the tires.
okay, all right.
So the blue represents a tire. So
Mm-hmm.
so that way I can tell
which tire.
I'm not saying.
Okay.
That way I can tell my teammate which tire I think they should be putting on if there's some kind of change mid race, without telling the whole pack what tire I'm suggesting they put on.
Not like Slug, who comes over the mic and is like, "Yo, Zen, what lap are we pitting on again?"
And that ended up, changing his whole strategy based on my answer. Yeah. No more of that. No more of that. But I write up one sheet, just for the whole group. Basically, it's kind of more for me and Matt.
Yeah.
As my team goes, Curse guys, because Curse guys' times tend to be a little bit slower than the rest of us on the team. He generally doesn't work out the same for him. He ends up like being a lap down a lot of the time. So he can actually run sometimes, probably run even a softer tire than we might plan for, because he's going to run one less lap sometimes. But yeah, it's mostly just one sheet, just kind of an average. I do play around with margin of error. So like, a tire will get 6 laps, but you might be able to push it 7. Well, I'll note that. And sometimes it comes down to how you drive the cars. We had this issue with Matt the other week where I was getting, I don't remember how many laps, and he was getting 1 less on average. And we had to just kind of work out a change in strategy for him based on the number of laps he was getting. So, but if it was for a lot more people, it would probably be way less accurate, but it's good enough. So,
well,
yeah,
all of this brings in for GT3 Sport an interesting kind of dynamic. They're used to figuring out their strategies based upon the number of laps and the time of the race and that type of thing that they're doing now. The ones of them that end up, however it pans out, that end up in GT3 World, and even in sport, because they're going to have the safety car next year, are going to have a different dynamic and a different thing to adjust for. And that safety car changes everything, as we all know. And Zen, I know when you talk about your strategy, same as we do, you're basing those strategies on what if the safety car comes this lap or this lap or this lap. And because no matter where it lands, it's going to change what you're going to do. And so you have to plan it out. You're not developing one strategy. You're developing, if there's a 14 lap potential, you're developing 14 strategies.
Right. Yeah.
And that's where the difficulty comes in and the complication. So I look forward to these guys. Number one, having GT4 there, it's, I think, awesome, because well, not just us, but very rarely does anybody use GT4 cars. Really, they're kind of unused in the game. But also now that dynamic is brought to the GT4 guys. as well,
Yeah.
which is
It'll really shake things up for anybody who hasn't done it. It's yeah, you really got to plan. Like everything revolves around when the safety car happens. Essentially, everything before it, everything after. Like that's the marker of the race.
yep.
Yeah, I almost think, and we can talk about this a little bit more later, but I almost think that each of us that have been in a captain seat in GT3 World should be not on essentially a new captain's team, but at least have a little one-on-one discussion. Like we'll identify, if I'm a team captain, then you are, Merc is, and then we team up with the new guys and say, look, I'm not going to give you all my secrets, but you do want to plan some of these things ahead of time to say, communicate to your team, so on and so forth, so they can be prepared and not get blown out of the water just on strategy alone.
And that's the purpose of the Discord. And when they ask questions and everything, yeah, we can certainly have a group discussion and kind of bring them up to speed once we know who those captains are going to be. But also if you're one of those drivers and you want to know how this stuff works, reach out and direct message a current captain, direct message somebody that's in GT3 World now, and ask them how we do it. How do you formulate this, that, and the other? We will tell you. We're not going to tell you everything about how it's done, but we will tell you enough to at least allow you to be able to get the concept, grasp that concept, and develop a plan that makes sense to you. Because it is difficult. It takes a little bit of adjustment, and it takes a little bit of kind of re-gearing your mind to think a different way about the race. You guys agree?
Yeah.
100%. I mean, you have to think, we went through this progression of no safety car, no tire requirement, and then we went tire requirement. So we've kind of limped through it, and then we're like, all right, what's the next challenge? And it's like, all right, let's throw a safety car in there. So we've had time to kind of adapt season after season. Some of these guys are getting thrown right in the mix. And, so that's why I'm saying, it might be smart for us to kind of pair up with some of the new captains just to kind of help them implement some of their strategies, and then, don't give them too much so we can blow them out of the water. Yeah.
It'll be an interesting dynamic with the two essentially groups of the same members of the same team, the three GT3s and the GT4s kind of all having to come together with their separate races to, put their points together to win a team victory. It'll certainly change things up, and it's cool that it'll include everybody. I think that's a really good way to do it.
Right. Well, we're excited. Merc and I have been talking about this like right at the beginning of this season. We were like, all right, what are we doing next? And we started talking about Group 3, Group 4, just to kind of change it up a little bit and kind of put everyone in their qualifying realm to kind of keep them competitive. And hopefully, some of the guys that do end up mid-pack or a little bit farther back do get that opportunity in GR4 to kind of get a couple podiums or whatnot. So that's the hope, to kind of keep everyone in the game, and we've got a good group of guys, so it's been enjoyable. But all right, moving on to the next question. Who do you usually find yourself competing with or racing against in most races? Like within a couple positions, who do you find yourself typically battling? Me, it's usually Besso is usually who I'm battling with, obviously first and second. But for you, who do you usually find yourself with?
A lot of time it's gonna be probably Matt or Dirksy. I would say definitely see a lot of Dirksy over the past quite a few races. He knows it. We see each other a lot. But, I do see Matt a fair amount. It's interesting as we're teammates to be racing with each other a lot in these last couple races. Like in Sardinia, we were together. Just I don't remember what positions we were in, but we were 1-2. Where was I in my train of thought? Sorry, I got interrupted. We were racing together for a while, so yeah, I definitely see Matt a lot too. So that's the answer to my question.
What does Dirksy do really well?
don't know if I have a good answer for that. I guess he's just he's drives a good line. He's got a a fast car.
Hmm.
He's a
Yeah, what
clean.
I've seen out of Dirksey is just like consistency out of Dirksey.
Yeah, he's pretty consistent, I would say.
Yeah.
So
What about
I've got
gloves?
some questions.
Sure.
Don't mind Junkai.
Hmm.
So
I'm at the end.
yeah, right.
Said I'm at the end of my questions. Screw my questions.
Yeah,
It's your
yeah.
show. Whatever.
So what is then your favorite and least favorite track and or layout within the game? Which one do you like the best and which one do you like the least?
I'm best. I'm going to go with Watkins Glen because I've won it twice. So I think that's a good answer. Anytime I can get under Junkai's skin of being fast enough, I will take it.
Nothing but love it. And the last 2 times was in the same damn fashion on the same damn turn.
Well, I actually got a couple laps earlier the second time. The last time it was like lap just before last. But this time I had a couple laps on you, I think. But
it hurts all the same.
I mean, you're always up in front. I always have to pass you to win.
Fucking Watkins. I love that track too, and I hate that you beat me every time on it.
I'm glad that I can beat you somewhere. So I will take that as my favorite. My least favorite track, probably the one we just did. That track is awful. I hate it with a passion. I never want to race it again if I ever have to.
Yeah, you were pretty audible about that. Like throughout the day, it was like, I hate this track. I hate this track. And it's a tough one. It really is. I mean,
the only other track that I probably hate is Interlagos.
I agree with that.
I agree with that. Yeah. Yeah.
I can't imagine doing that in an F1 car.
Oh God. Awful. That'd be awful.
Yeah.
Next endurance race idea?
Unsubscribe, my friend. Unsubscribe.
I'm out.
3 hours around here.
Oh my God. 180 laps later.
5 hours.
Oh.
5 hours.
5 hours.
Stop talking.
It's fine. I'm just not going to show up. You guys can have fun.
Oh, you're going to pull a Glovis. Let's put this whole race together. Blah, blah, blah. And I'm not showing up, by the way.
24 hours at Daytona Oval. All right. Do it.
Oh, God.
Real time, 24 hours. All right.
So, in real life, Zen, what is it that you drive?
I drive a 2010 BMW 328i.
Gotcha.
I didn't know you were in a Bimmer.
A Bimmer.
A Bimmer. You and Floody both are Bimmer drivers, right?
I am a Bimmer driver. Yeah, definitely.
Did he recruit you into the Bimmers?
Kind of, sort of. When the Fiat blew up on me and I had to go to CarMax and get a car in short order, I kind of prioritized BMWs just because he had gotten one recently and he was big on them. And I figured if I had questions or issues with the car, I could probably go to him for answers, and that has been pretty true. So
smart.
Yeah, so it's unfortunately it was a 2010 and I bought it in like 2020, so it was already 10 years old to start with. And so it's got a lot of quirks and stupid things and stuff that could probably stand to be corrected and fixed and whatnot. But whatever, I own it and it takes me from A to B. So, and when I hit the gas, it goes because it's got X drive, so it has the all-wheel drive, so it's just gone whenever I hit the gas. So that's nice.
The best car is a car that doesn't have a payment.
Right. I got to pay that off recently, which was pretty nice. So
nice.
I'm 2 payments into my 5-year loan, so that's great.
That's great.
I was like 6 months payments away from owning the Fiat before the engine blew up on me.
Oh, that's brutal.
Yeah, that sucked. And it was like months out of warranty too.
Oh, that's right. That's rough. So, last question. Tell us about your sim setup. when you're racing, what are you using? What equipment are you rolling?
This is my sim setup.
All right, awesome. Controller game. All right,
Yeah.
cool.
I'm the dying few. There's not going to be much of us left. I do need to actually replace this controller. My downshift button. This I shift with upshift with X and downshift with square. My square button's kind of spongy, so it feels funny, but it still works. And my audio jack is loose, and that's why it sometimes pops on the microphone when you guys hear me.
Ah, okay. All
It
right.
doesn't.
But we're gonna find you.
I
We're gonna
need
find you a little room, right, for my steering wheel setup.
right. You're gonna have to not probably build a room in order to find a room.
Hey, Merc will tell you, if you want a new room, I'll build you a new room.
I think you might have trouble with the townhouse people, but we'll see.
That's not my problem. I'm just building you the room. You deal with the HOA crap.
All right.
The HOA.
Yeah.
So, final discussion tonight. The last point we're going to talk about is the next race, and we talked about it a little bit earlier. The Skyline GTR Challenge, which is coming up, which is a Sunday Cup. Junkai, you're not participating?
Hell no. One, the lobby's full. Okay. I gave my seat up to somebody who will be unnamed. You're welcome. But hell no.
Are you going to watch? Are you going to watch the stream?
Of course I'm going to watch. You think I would be like... Yeah, absolutely. I think my wife and son will watch this thing. This is going to be enjoyable.
Just watch the downhill at Yamigawa.
Yeah, no, that I understand what you're talking about, considering we just drove it, so I know, what area you're talking about. I just think the pandemonium that's going to ensue at Tokyo with one screw up, it's going to be bad, man. Like, whoever gets out front, clean air, it's going to be good. 2, 3 might be good.
Get a couple
mid-pack. Mid-pack is going to be brutal, brother. I'm telling you, instant reporting is going to be shut down for that race.
Honestly, you might as well shut it down for the whole weekend because
I agree with that. I agree with
medium
that.
tires with this much horsepower is just it's going to get messy. There's going to be accidents for sure. There's no way there can't be.
Yeah, no, it's going to be interesting.
Traction control, use it.
It doesn't matter, man. It's not a bad matter of traction. It's a matter of when you do the corners, you just slide. Everybody's going to want to be going fast because these are big open tracks for the most part, especially Tokyo and the high-speed ring. So it's going to get messy. There's going to be a lot of people going inside and pushing others out. That's going to happen a bunch of times.
Well, it's going to be interesting for sure.
Do you want to tell us what car you're in, or you want to hold on to that one?
I'm driving a Nissan GTR.
Okay. No, wow, really? Holy shit! Dude, that might get you the win. I'm telling you, no one's gonna see that coming. Jesus fuck.
You picked the all-wheel drive one.
Yeah, the all-wheel drive one.
What? They have a non-all-wheel drive one?
From Japan.
So points going
the R34.
Okay, all right.
Going into this race with Sunday Cup is right now, Zen, you're leading Sunday Cup, and you have a significant lead.
Mini did its work.
Yeah.
It did. So you're at 92, and Besso is at 77, and Folgore is at 60. So
that's a nice buffer there, especially knowing that the last race of this season is another Clubman Cup. Like, that's pretty good.
I'm hopeful that the mini will come through on the 500 series and hope them a win. I would like to win another Sunday Cup. I've been itching for it for a couple seasons now. So.
Is that when the engine swap comes in?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I can reveal that. Yeah. There's definitely an engine swap for the 500 series and moving on. There's no more horsepower in the other one, so
yeah.
There's not much.
What I don't know this crap. What engine is it?
It's the Civic engine, actually. It's the K20 or something. The 20 Civic engine. That's the one that gets swapped into the Mini.
Spoon engines. Or was it Spooner? What was it? Spooner or spoon engine? Something like
It was in Fast and Furious, yeah. It
Yeah.
was spoon engine, yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I thought. Okay.
Hector's running spoon engines. Yeah. All right.
It's about
Awesome.
race wars. Okay.
Race wars. Right.
So real quick, because you said that, Silo, who's like I said in the league, I've known him since 5th grade.
I've seen him
He
race.
just moved in. He just moved in with me.
Oh.
Actually, he bumped with you once at Road Atlanta, but he just moved in with me. And one of the stipulations, he's moving into my game room, and I was like, my rig doesn't leave the game room. So at 10:30 the other morning, I'm like, yo, you awake? Wake up, bro! I'm coming in. And I sent him a text, and it was Race Wars. I was like, it's race day. Get the hell up, bitch. And he's like, I'm sleeping. I was like, I don't care. I got a race. I'm not missing this. So he's laying in bed. And someone made a comment because he was watching TV as I'm trying to race. They're like, I hear talking in the background. So I had to mute my mic during the race. That was aggravating. I don't know why I felt like I had to tell that story, but it's all good. Here we are.
But he has his own sim rig, so you actually have dual rigs now.
Yeah, but if he's not going to use it, it's going to Zen. I'm going to go drop it off at his house when I come up in October.
Nice.
I'll find a place for it. It'll probably
Yeah.
be
And then you can get you a nice Fanatec DD Pro.
You know, the crappy thing is,
You guys have been talking about
Glovis.
it. I haven't been paying attention at all because I don't own one or have any ability to own one. So I'm just like, okay, they're talking about fucking wheels and pedals and shit again. Whatever.
so poor Glovis, right? So he went out and met up with Cowhow, got a new wheel today. So bravo, Glovis.
Good job,
It's going to take a learning curve. So I don't know if he's going to stick on the controller through the rest of the season for World or not. But you know, poor guy was on Cowhow's Fanatec setup, and then he's going to go put that Logitech together and be like, "What the hell is this crap?"
No, he got a Thrustmaster, I thought. He got the T300.
He did?
I think so. I don't think it was a Logitech. I think he went with I thought he had a Thrustmaster.
That's possible. I wasn't paying attention. So if it's a Thrustmaster, good job.
Yeah, I think that's what he ended up with, and I think it's a belt drive system. So it's
No, that'll be good. All right.
much better
Well,
than.
I stand corrected. And again, I mean, I did well on the Logitech, but damn, there's a huge difference between the two. I'll say that.
Yeah, it's night and day for sure.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, did everybody enjoy their drink?
Yeah.
Cool, Dad.
Cool, Dad.
Yeah, we're good. We're good. Zen, did you enjoy yourself tonight? Do you have anything you want to leave out that you just want to let off your chest?
Not at the moment. I know that seems
Okay.
probably pretty surprising given how. Yeah. But,
Well,
no, I don't think there's anything at the moment. I'll probably
all
come up
right.
with
Well,
later.
I know Merck's wrapping up, but I will say we've appreciated you in the league. You've brought great content to the league and brotherhood to the league and camaraderie. It's been good. The competition, and I know you have your little Zenisms that we all play around with amping yourself up, and we all chuckle. But you know, truly, you're a friend. It's a pleasure to meet you face to face, and it's been good. It really has, and hopefully we can continue to, you know, bring you just a challenging race setup like we've done and collaborated on this stuff. So, sir, we definitely thank you in all this.
Well, thank you very much. I'm glad to be here and having a lot of fun racing every Sunday. It's like the thing I look forward to basically every week is, prepping for race day. Got to be ready for race day. So I'm sure there's others in the league that have been in a while that feel similar to that. But it's been a good time. I'm hoping to stick around for as long as we're racing, I guess, and as long as I can. So
I'm not going anywhere. So I have a kid and I can't really go out of the house anyway. So this kind of brings me together with everybody. So it's been good, man. It really has been.
Awesome. Yes, I second all of that. And thank you for coming on Zen and being our first interviewee for A Drink with the Driver. The rest of you guys submit, let us know. Let us know that you want to do this. We'll bring on another driver. We'll do this again. If you have interest in it. And so we're always looking for new ideas. Keep the comments coming in the discussion forums about race ideas. Guys, we listen to everything you say in those race suggestion forums. We take all of it to note. We're always watching. And we're watching you. Yeah. And we do pay attention to those things, guys, genuinely, and we appreciate everything that you guys submit in there. And we do consider it, and there will be things that we will work into in future races and future development and everything else. So it's always a work in progress. It's never complete, and it never will be. So keep everything coming. And again, thank you, Zen. Thank you for all your contributions that you've done to the league over these years.
Thank you guys for running the league. You do a very good job.
Thank you. Thank you. We appreciate it. It's a lot of work, but it is enjoyable. So
it's not a lot of work. Chaotica does everything.
Yeah.
Chaotica does everything. Yeah. All right, guys.
That's why I didn't reapply. I didn't want the workload.
Yeah, understood. And I don't blame you. Like, if anyone wants owner, you can have it. I just want to show up on Sunday and race.
All right, guys. Well, it's been good. We'll see everybody on next episode with A Drink with a Driver next week. And we'll be talking about after the GTR Godzilla challenge. So this yes, Zen has Pepsi, sponsored by Pepsi, not whatever that crap is you drink, Jinkai. What is it?
Hey, I was supporting my team, and you know what? Starry won. So you know what? You can drink that in your little cup.
Drinking out of cups?
Like a little bitch. I'm out. I'm good.
See you guys. Have a good one.
Later.
Bye.